Okay. Let's see here. Is this going at all? Is Edward just talking into the ether? Perhaps he is. No, it looks like it's going. Okay. Well, sorry about yet another disconnect. Apparently it isn't DeviantArt that's the problem. Apparently it's just the internet here today. So, yeah, if this crashes one more time, I think that's going to be it for today, because Edward does not feel like going through the hassle of constantly making another stream over and over and over just to show all this. All that's gonna do is just get in the way of the workflow, and I'm pretty sure everyone here has been able to see that we have been working on the comic rather adamantly today. So, yeah. I guess this is, this will be, I assure you, the final stream of the day, because we are not going through and just constantly starting things back up over and over. So, welcome everyone to part 3 of working on this one comic page. If you are just tuning in now, we have done 2 videos so far of doing this page of the comic, which have been interrupted both times due to, for some reason, this stream disconnecting. I want to say maybe it's due to the Edward here in the corner that is maybe causing too much stress on the programs of the computer, but honestly I have no idea, because we watched through the entirety of like an 8 to 9 hour manga, or no, 8 to 9 hour anime with Edward here doing his little expressions along the side, so I'm not sure what's going on, but either way, welcome back again. Here we are working on Of Heroes and Legends, page 88 of the 14th comic of the Dreamscape series. When we last left off, our intrepid streamer here was discussing the inner workings of the Ninja Turtles and somewhat the Teen Titans in the final seconds of that stream. The Ninja Turtles all throughout most of that video, but Teen Titans was mentioned at the very end, which I'm not sure if that even got picked up on the stream before it crashed, but I would like to think that it did. Either way, we're here now working on our own comic, which has been going for over a decade now. Long hard work. Blood, sweat, and tears. And pumpkin cake. That is currently what Edward is eating, along with some milk to go with it. Yep. No. It's always a bit of an annoyance on the days where the internet just does not want to cooperate with you. Speaking of your little online issues, Dumbo, I think it's very obvious you're not the only one with those today. It's been a bit of a trial keeping things running here for some reason on stream, but we're still back for one last video. But again, this'll be the last one if it decides to die, because it is way too much hassle to just keep redoing it over and over. Yeah, I wish I had an answer to that, Shadow, but you know as much as I do why this keeps crashing. My best guess is maybe Edward here in the corner might be causing the programs to have too much strain, but I would think that that is not the case, since he was here throughout the entirety of watching the Pluto anime with us. So, your guess is as good as mine. We're here for now. Until we're not. But that time has not come yet. At least it's a relaxing day for you. It's, you seem like you are in a bit of a decent state of being for the moment. And we have the opening level theme of Mega Man X6 playing here, which is carrying over from the previous video, in the previous part of the stream. Yeah, this is gonna be a bit of a... well, at least it's adding to the video count, I guess. Although I never really keep track of that. What I wish is that, like, on YouTube, the stream count would, like, contribute to the video count so that it shows that you've, like, done more stuff. Because whenever I look at the video part of the channel, it's like, oh, you made a video, like, 3 or 4 months ago. And it's like, no. I made one, like, I made 30 in the last 2 months, but fine. I made, like, 1 4 months ago. Nah, it's just a visual irksomeness to me. Do you got anything going on this week, Shadow, or for later tonight? Enjoying any dinners or anything? Right now, I am just eating some pumpkin cake that I made the other day. I think it was like 3 eggs, baking soda, baking powder, brown sugar, salt, and some milk. What else? Allspice and cinnamon, I think. Oh, is this the wrong layer? No, it's the right layer. Well, it's the same layer. It was being done on the wrong layer, I now realize, so I am going to rectify that here. How much did I do on the wrong layer? I did practically this whole panel on the wrong layer, so that's nice. Let's just chop all of that out. Oh, well, I am terribly sorry about the funeral, Shadow. Sadly, it does happen to everyone eventually. At least at this point in time. I'm sure there will come a point where funerals become much less of a common occurrence in our world, but we are probably some decades, if not centuries, away from that being the case. But perhaps in our lifetime we'll get to the point where our lives get extended enough that we get to see the era where the whole dying aspect becomes less prevalent for our species. Well, now this is like, okay, it's freezing. It is freezing up. Okay, good. It did not die. That's the main thing I worry about when it does freeze on this program. Because there are times where, like, I'm working, and I made a bunch of progress, and then out of nowhere it freezes, and it's like your heart stops for a second, and then you just wait to see if it all just falls away into oblivion. But usually I save often enough for that not to be the case. Yeah, by this point in my life, most of the people of that generation for my family, I think all of them have died off now, because Mom's dad is dead, Mom's dad is dead, Dad's mom is dead, and Dad's dad is dead. And, yeah, Mom and Dad are pretty much the ones that are left for the elders of the family on my side. But I'm still here. I'm going to hopefully outlive all of them. Yeah, technically, if you want to look at it in a biological sense, they will continue to live on as long as the bloodline does, because technically all of us, well, everyone, what all we are is just pretty much hybrid clones of the people that came before us. It's pretty much all that all of humanity is. Just an endless series of the natural reproduction hybrid cloning process. Different combinations of the things that came before. But, so far, I have not had any memories from past lives, so as far as I'm aware, I am my own person. Oh, I definitely intend to get past 70, Shadow. I intend to get past 400 if possible, and then we can see the entirety of what I have currently planned for my stuff, which is probably going to be infinitely more stuff to make as the decades go by and I come up with even more stuff. I'll zoom that back out. There we go. And hopefully you get to live to see those days. It is quite a long series that we are partaking into. Trying to think of what the longest running, like, comic series would be. Maybe, like, Usagi Yojimbo would have to be one of them. He's been going since, like, the 80s, and it's just been his one creator, Stan Sakai, making them all ever since, like, the 80s. So, that is one of the longest ones. I know in terms of, like, everything that's been created, like, One Piece is one of the longest absolute, like, biggest sources of material to look through, but in terms of, like, history, Stan Sakai has been doing it for quite a while with Usagi Yojimbo. But hopefully Edward will be the one to surpass them in how long his series runs for. Although, in terms of, like, everything I have intended to create, my stuff is, like, going to hopefully be spread out across various comic series, video games, movies, animated series, all that stuff. So, Xeno Hunter is completely intended to be just a video game series. Capper / the TV Demon stuff is a video game series. And Barbot and the Freaks are supposed to be video game stuff, and originally Doko was thought up as video game stuff, but once I started on the comics, I just could not stop, so he's pretty much a comic series at this point. But who knows? Maybe someday, a video game of Doko. I did intend to somehow, like, once I started publishing the comic, I'm not sure how I would do this, but I intended for, like, the original release of the comic to have a limited run of a small side-scroller video game of Doko that would go along with it. And it would be like, you could press a button and it would, like, switch automatically to another character in the middle of the level. So, like, you'd be playing as Doko, and then you press the switch character button, and there'd be, like, a puff of smoke, and when it, like, left the screen, you'd be playing as, like, Mech or Tesley or something. And I'm not sure how it would work to, like, make that, like, little game to go along with the release of the comic, but it always seemed like it'd be a cute thing to include as a special premiere item for the initial publication of the comic. Probably just a couple levels long to give, like, maybe some playthroughs of the first few stories of the comic. That, or it could be, like, supplemental material that shows little, things that happen between the first issue of the comic, and then, like, between that and the second issue, where Mech and Tesley first start living with Doko. It seems like it might be a fun thing to do. Again, no idea how I'd do that, but it was an idea I had as just a little bonus thing. I guess I could, at some point, like, make a little, like, Doko avatar to put in the corner here in place of Edward. Have him sort of host things. Hello everyone, Doko here. I have no idea what any of this stuff is. Mech just said that if I get on here, we will get what are called views, and he will be happy because it will get him money. Personally, I would just go hunting in the woods for my food, but they always seem to want to go to the store, which is, honestly, a lot more time wasted. Easier to just go and dive in and catch a fish with your hands. Yeah, that's probably somewhat how the narration would go for Doko hosting things. You can only imagine the topics that Mech would bring up if he were in charge. Tesley would probably be trying to just go on about, like, whatever historical thing she would be looking at, and, like, the importance behind who created it and everything. It was always cool to have, like, cartoon hosts for certain segments on channels on TV. All the great Cartoon Fridays segments and all that, Magoozy and everything. Kinda surprised they never had, like, Goku hosting anything on, like, the old Japanese channels and stuff. Although Kid Goku, I always just call him Goku, but Kid Goku was a pretty big, good icon for selling merchandise with back in the 80s. Always a very cute character. Yeah, Goku during that era is what I always think of whenever I hear the name Goku. But I do apologize for how the streams have gone today. Not at all what I had planned with all the interruptions there have been. I imagine this Edward here will be accompanying us along to various video game endeavors that we undertake. But I don't intend to have him for all them. It is good to have, like, a full view of the screen as, like, the main thing on the screen when you're playing the game. I guess, in case this does end up crashing again, I should probably zoom out to show the entire page, just to show the audience. Like, obviously this is all going to go up on DeviantArt after I'm done, but for those that don't go to DeviantArt that often, just to show them how the comic page is to look. So, let's zoom out a bit here. Oh, we've got like over half the page done now, that's nice. It was going quite slow earlier, took like, I think over an hour on that first panel, but here's how the whole page looks in case we get disconnected again. We got Doko here. He like falls to the ground after... Come on, no, there. He like falls to the ground after he gets flipped over and kicks the claw in the face. But then he like rolls over to this side where the claw isn't defending and just bashes him in the cheek. Tries it again, but the claw's ready and knocks him back and then jabs his elbow into Doko's injured arm, which is obviously does not feel good. So Doko like falls to the ground here to get away from the next swipe and rolls again before launching back up into the air to continue the attack. Yeah, not too much that you can really go on story-wise with these pages constantly just being action, but the storytelling kind of flows through the action itself in these pages. Oh, we don't need no face cam here, game saved. We got a much better looking Edward here in the corner. Yeah, I've never been one that's been too much about showing my face. Obviously I have shown it before on like Discord and stuff, but I have always wanted to have like just the cartoon aspect be the primary focus when it comes to Edward and who he actually is. This is what I always want myself to be seen as, is this version, Edward. Which, I guess even that is like not how I am in real life, because it's like I'm not Edward or Warahi in real life. This is all just who I am on the internet, who I am as what I want to be. So this is probably, unless we get more advanced versions of this kind of avatar thing, this is probably the closest you will see to the actual Edward for, like, the internet side of things, outside of, like, whatever pictures I put up on the Discord. I do remember I have, like, a couple of really, really old pictures from, like, back in, like, 2006 or something, back on DeviantArt, but you would have to, like, sort through so many images to get to those, like, I think over 2,000 pictures you'd have to go through before you got to those photos. But they are out there for whoever wants to look them up. Yeah, my dream, which I don't know how possible it'll ever be, it seems like it's getting closer to reality, well, closer to being able to be done with, like, how advanced AI and stuff is getting, but what I would want is for, the Edward that you see on the videos here, to be able to make whatever expression that I want him to without having to, like, having to draw out every little frame, like, animate it in real time so it actually reflects what I am thinking as I talk in a cartoon 2D form, which, again, I am not sure that we are at that level of being able to do that. Within the next decade or so, I imagine we'll probably get to that point. Take a bit more advancements and stuff, but it feels like it'll be doable eventually. All I'd probably have to do at that point is provide the base picture of Edward, and then the programs would probably work off of that to reshape each expression he does to match what I am feeling like in real life. It'd probably take some internal tinkering from me and trial and error to get the expressions to be completely correct in the end product, but the general movements and in-betweens would probably be handled pretty effectively by then by whatever AI program is operating the tools and stuff. Yeah, there's 2D type of things right now, game save, but for what I'm envisioning, I don't think we're at that level yet. Basically, think of, I guess, maybe Ed, and Eddie, like, think of that, not like, don't think of me drawing Ed, and Eddie, I'm just giving a hypothetical example, is all. Ed and Eddie or Samurai Jack or something, but have it be that you could, what you are thinking, what you are doing and saying is making the characters change expressions in their video, and they will look like they are still being hand-drawn by the artists that made the cartoon, and like it's like actual animation frames from the show, but that's being modified in real time as you are talking. It's something that would be impossible to do, like with human capabilities, but it is something that I feel is probably going to be achievable at some point in the near future. It's my dream. I'm not sure if we will get to that point, but I feel like we will. Then we can make an actual Doko cartoon. Well, not really a cartoon, just a video of him talking and the expressions, like, matching his voice actor correctly. Oh, well, if I were to do Ed and Eddie, that is quite a show to make. That would take a lot of effort, but I would love to have worked on that show. I did like the older seasons, how they looked more than the later ones, though. Once they, like, I'm not sure what they did. I know they started doing things, like, with more digital programs later on, but if you, like, look at the storyboards, the non-finished versions of those later episodes, of those later seasons, they actually look like they're drawn like the original seasons. And for some reason, they redraw them and make them look different for, like, the final product. It's very weird. I'm not sure what the process was that changed how they looked in the in-between phase between the prototype and the final version for the final seasons, but it's kind of cool to look at those and see that, yeah, they were still drawing them like the older seasons, at least in the prototype phases in the final seasons. I just wish that translated to the actual episodes, like the final product of it. If I can find it, I could probably show that on here. I know I've shown it before, but just for reference for those that haven't seen it. Just wanna get the Claws pants done here first. It is nice to have Edward actually, like, matching my lip movements somewhat in everything. Oh wait, we don't have the Claw's bottom leg here filled in. That's just going to fill in the entire page as black if I do the fill bucket. Okay, now we do. Now we do. There we go. Let's just make sure it's... There we go. That's good. That's good. Okay. Let me see if I can find that Ed and Eddie. And maybe, for all we know, this will just crash the stream again, but we're going to try and venture out into cyberspace once more. Storyboard? Would this get it? Animation test, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. For what I was talking about... Let's see here. Okay, there. Alright. Now, what I was talking about for the, like, 0.5% of people that would care about this, the final seasons of Ed and Eddie, they looked quite different from the original seasons. Like, they were animated or they were drawn differently in, like, the final version. But this'll give an idea of... You can see on, like, the side here that... Oh, why is it cutting out the green in this? That is very odd. But you can see on the side here, they are actually drawn more like they were in the original seasons, and as it moves, just keep an eye. Like, I'll play through it a couple of times so you can look at how it looks on the right, which is the final product, and how it is on the left, which is, like, the animation test of it. And, like, the left side looks like it moves more like how it originally did in the original seasons. And they give more expression in the animation tests. Yeah, like there, Ed looks exactly like his original seasons, and Eddie's eyes are, like, smaller there. Well, we'll play through it again just to just to give another little look at it. That's very odd to me. Like, I love how it looks on the left. And it's not bad on the right. It's just, it doesn't look as good or as Ed, and Eddie-like as it is on the left. Yeah, I just wish it retained how it looked for the final seasons, but it's fine. It's still the show. Yeah, like Eddie right here. He looks perfect on the left. And he looks very expressive on the right, but he looks perfect on the left. But, yeah, that is what I was talking about when we were discussing Ed and Eddie there. Let's get back to work. For whatever we are afforded to work with for this segment before we have our inevitable crash again. Okay, now let me go back here. Oh, I'm just now noticing it's like, yeah, back there it's cutting out the color also. Is this something to do with the settings? Because I had to mess around with some settings for when we watched Pluto yesterday, and the day before that, so... Well, I'm not gonna go into settings right now, otherwise that's going to, like, kill the stream entirely, but I'm going to have to mess around with that before I stream again, so the greens and stuff aren't messed up on the screen. Yeah, I had to do, like, a filter of some sort to get the screen to actually work with the program when it was, like recording the anime we were watching. So it's probably something I just have to go through and readjust is all. Now let me see here. Here we go. Here's some, oh, here's some ad. Yes, a little help goes a long way. Oh, I've driven across that bridge before. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch the news. We're going to this. A little remix of the Death Egg from Sonic 4 Episode 2. Always like listening to this. Nice little ambient background music. Yeah, I'm sure it's some sort of setting I have to tinker with, game saved. But for now, we are not chancing, messing around with that. This is the third stream that we are on today. We don't need any more of the damage to be done to our videos here. I thought it was gonna be a nice little sit down, just one stream, go through the comic page, and here we are, 3 videos in now. But we're on our way. You can't beat Sonic music. Unless it's Forces, then that's a different story, but other than Forces, Sonic is always one you can go to for a good time. When it comes to the games themselves, they're a bit more up and down at times, but screw whoever says there's just bad Sonic games. That's obviously not true. Now, I will play Sonic Adventure 2 any day of the week. Love that game. Honestly, it's probably where I would have ended the Sonic series with how that game ends. Feels like just sort of a perfect bookend to things. But by this point, they've dragged it all out across all time and space and everything, and now it's just kind of a carnival of, well, let's just try this now. Obviously that hurts it more than helps most cases, but occasionally you'll get the Sonic Mania and have a nice little evening of fun. The Death Egg was obviously just a ripoff of the Death Star, but honestly, I felt more like more connection to the Death Egg than the Death Star. Because as Star Wars went on, the Death Star just kind of became this thing that was like, oh, there it is again. But, like, in Sonic, it was like, you had a whole saga of the Death Egg, like, taking off, then crashing, trying to take off again, crashing again, and then finally getting into the air and in operation at the end of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, where everything sort of culminates in one last showdown. And that was such an epic way to end off the original games. And I'm pretty sure in Sonic 2, like, they don't have a level selection in the final game, but you can find, if you hack it, like, the level icons. And, like, I'm pretty sure in Sonic 2, the Death Egg is meant to be, like, a parody of the second Death Star. Because if you see the, like, level icon for it, the Death Egg is, like, under construction. It looks like the Death Star 2 was. So I'm pretty sure it's, like, still in the process of being built during Sonic 2. It was always insane the amount of stuff that Eggman could create. Like, he just has, like, literal armies of robots that he pulls out of pretty much nowhere with just the level of, like, scientist he is at. Probably the most intimidating show of, like, force that he had was the Egg Fleet in Sonic Heroes. Just a massive platoon of battleships. It ends up getting hijacked by Metal Sonic, but it was his. It was Eggman's originally. Now we're finally getting done with the middle of the page. Oh wow, it's already like 5:30 here. Got started on this a bit later than I wanted to. Oh, we're still making progress. As long as we're working, that's what matters. And Edward is always working. It's just all these different parts on Doko that you have to fill in. There's just so many of him on this page with all the, like, images I did of him, like, rolling around everywhere. What should I do for dinner? I have rice. I do need to make use of some of the vegetables in the refrigerator. But at the same time, I really gonna have much energy to work with for making stuff after this? Oh, we'll see. And then tomorrow, I'm doing that job from, let's see, it's 7 at night to 11 at night. And then I'm free for the weekend, it looks like, I think. Of course, I'm right here. They can always probably call me in whenever they want. Although, I do need my money. So, I will probably accept any calls that they make at the moment. For me, it's always just an issue of, like, always thinking I'm going to fail at everything, so I always have to force myself to ignore that if I'm starting a new job. Like, when I do these comics, I always think they're going to be horrible just because it's me that's making them, but I do know by this point that there are people that like them, so I have an easier time of ignoring those thoughts when I'm making them now. But they're always there, and it's just part of who I am. And it probably contributes to how the comics themselves are, so it may be a good quality for the sake of production. Bow bow. Oh, and I did save the chat from the previous stream, for in case that does get lost in the crash that we had. For those that ever want to see any of the chats that go along with the streams that don't have the chats, I usually post them on the Discord. That's, when I save them, I'll put them up there. Sometimes, though, unfortunately, it just happens out of nowhere, and I don't really think to save them at that moment. But a lot of the stream chats are still available. Unfortunately, the birthday one was, one that we could not save because of that whole suspension thing in the video. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, there we go. But that stream itself is still up, so people can still watch the stream. And we did have quite a bit of fun playing through Earthworm Jim that day, and looking at the various different Transformers shows and stuff. Yeah, I should make a little whistling Edward at some point. Although, not sure how often I would use that, but it would be one to make note of to make in the future. So, future Edwards to make one with closed eyes, smiling for extra happy. One for whistling. There's probably some others I could think up right here, but at the moment, those are the ones that come to mind. The emotions that we have right now pretty much do cover what I usually emote in these videos, so I think we've got most of our bases handled. There we go, fill that in. Okay. Alright. Now, at least I don't have to click a button for Edward to blink. The program kinda just does that itself. Just the occasional blinkage to make it look more lively. Okay, and now we're down to the final panels, which is still quite a bit of work to do. Oh yeah, no. Well, we're still going. Let's finish this out. I don't know if I'll actually stay here for the full thing, because my stomach is starting to growl quite a bit. But I'm here for now. Okay. Let's just do Doko. Do Doko. Okay. Maybe a sleepy Edward also can be made for the emotions we have here. Because this one is not as appropriate for yawning, but it is more appropriate than the others for the yawning emotion. Okay, now my stomach, now that I have noticed it is starting to growl, is really starting to growl. Okay, maybe we will end this early, but I do want to at least get this panel done, and then maybe I can handle the final panel off screen. We now have a set objective, an end point in sight, and with any luck, we will not crash again. But if we do, that's going to be it, because I am going to make dinner then. I'm starting to think maybe rice, vegetable, egg, something else with it, maybe. That's something. That sounds nice. Yeah, this emotion for yawning is not nearly as effective to me as the more neutral emotion. It is pretty good for the singing aspect, though. Okay, well, it says reconnection successful, but I'm sure it died again, so whatever. We'll check in on it and see that it has died for sure. Oh, we are alive. Okay, good. Okay, that's nice. I'm not sure what it is today, but something... Okay, it says reconnection successful, but kinda doubting we are connected still. It's green again. Well, we'll see how this goes. Okay, never mind. Dumbo's here, so I'm assuming we're still connected. This is a very rough day for streaming. I wanna maybe... Let's see here. Get rid of Edward. Let's see if this, like... it's in the green, so it's not affecting anything right now. Wait. Okay, get rid of Edward. Bring him back. Get rid of him. Okay, that doesn't seem to be affecting the connection thing. Okay. Edward will stay here. Alright, we'll have him happy for now, because the stream is apparently going. If not, though, I am going to check over on YouTube just to make sure that everything is working still. Boyato. This is a pretty rough time today for this stuff. Down. Down, bow, bow. Down, bow, bow. Okay, okay. It says we're live. It says we're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Okay. It says we're live. Alright, it looks like we're good for now. And it doesn't seem like Edward is affecting the connection. But this will be the final panel that I do. Because I am starving, and we do not need to test this connection issue any more than it has put the trials of us through today. This is... I am happy we did not stream Pluto today. This would have been terrible if we tried to watch the anime on this day. It was a fun time watching that, though. Not sure how the second video was allowed to stay up, but it's still there for whoever missed out on it. Still really surprised they had Higgy Oyaji, of all people, in there. Was not expecting Daddy Walrus to make a return. I am hungry. Oh yeah, YouTube is always a hassle to work with, Dumbo. It's an unfortunate reality. Although, I'm pretty sure that this issue is more of my internet connection than it is YouTube. You can kind of feel when things are going to go awry, because there's like a little stutter in every program on the screen, it feels like. Like, it's not a stutter, but there's like an air of silence in the visuals, if that makes any sense. Sort of a sixth sense you develop in working with this stuff long enough. Down, 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 boom, boom, ba-dum. And I do know that an iffy internet connection is enough to mess with, like, certain programs that I run. On my other computer, the Windows 7, it's enough to crash the computer itself sometimes. If it's, like, a really bad, like, stutter in the connection. Bum, 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 bum. I'm just happy, like, we had 2 stutters here of OBS disconnecting, and usually that's enough that it crashes the stream. But apparently it has been able to reconnect this time for some reason. I'm happy about it, obviously. You can see that on my persona face over here. But a bit confused about why we are still going. Well, I do wish you the best of luck in your streaming endeavors tonight, Dumbo. You did seem to be having fun with Alucard when I poked my head in last night while it was going. Oh, hungry, hungry, hungry. Hungry, hungry hippos. Hungry, hungry hippos. Something, something, something. Hungry, hungry hippos. Can't remember what they said in that commercial for, like, other than hungry, hungry hippos. But really, that's all you need for that commercial is just repeating that line over and over. Can't believe when Kit Kat decided to do away with their "Give me a break, give me a break, break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar." That's like the iconic commercial for them. Like, that was around for so long. I don't know if they ever went back to it, but if they haven't, they really, really need to. And that's kind of their thing. Oh yeah, Alucard always had a really cool design in Hellsing Dumbo. The red-hatted maniac. Oh right, I still have a donut from earlier. I can have that as something to munch on before I get to dinner. One of the benefits of that new job, people sort of bring you things to eat, it looks like. It is in Grandma's old building she's lived in, so there's all sorts of old people here that bring stuff down for the people working down there. Oh, what I would do for a Klondike bar right now is, I would draw someone a really nice sketch is what I would do. Although one I would really want is like a mint Klondike bar. I do enjoy mint. Although chocolate raspberry is possibly my favorite. Raspberry is always a wonderful taste to me. I always thought raspberries were blue because the Bugs Life game had them as that. I remember I beat that game on the PlayStation 1 when I was little, like, before I knew about memory cards. That's one of the games that I just sat there for an entire day until I finally beat it. After I decided I've had enough of this game, I'm going to beat it. It's kind of the same attitude I had with Mystical Ninja. I remember people thinking that Majin Buu was made out of bubblegum back when they first saw Dragon Ball. I never quite understood, like, I don't know if I thought he was made out of bubblegum, but once I heard it, that made sense, given his, like, candy cravings he had. It was always fitting to me that the ultimate entity of chaos was something so childish in that in that universe. Just all the wackiness that the Dragon Ball universe is made out of. Which I feel a lot of fans kind of miss the point of when they get so, like, serious into everything. Like, not serious in terms of, like, the intricacies of how things work, but just, like, the theming of the aesthetics and everything. Yeah, you got all the vegetable people from planet Vegeta. You have Pilaf as the first villain. Ten Shinhan and Chaozu, which are food. Like, a ton of the characters in general are just named after food, pretty much. And all this talk of food is probably not good for me right now, because, the whole hungry thing, but it is Dragon Ball, so that kinda comes with the territory. Unless it's Red Ribbon, then you get into, like, the color naming scheme, which retroactively they went back and decided the names of 17 and 18 were Lapis Lazuli, which I'm sure if they did the fusion dance would become the ultimate being ever, Bob. If anyone remembers Steven Universe. Akira Toriyama is he's always been a comedy-based guy. Watching the making of, like, it isn't the making of, it's a documentary of how Chrono Trigger and Secret of Mana was made, that Stray Fox came out with, I think, the other week. It's funny, like, looking at the photos, and it's like, the other guys on the team are all, like, sorta more serious looking, but then you have Akira Toriyama, who just looks like a goofball with, like, his big smile next to them all the time and stuff. Yeah, Toriyama has always been the comedy guy of things. People attribute him to, like, big action Dragon Ball fights and stuff, but that really, I do not think, has ever been, like, his specialty at all. He's always felt more at home with the Dr. Slump side of things. The Dragon Ball stuff almost feels at times like he just kept doing it because, well, this is the big thing, so I guess I'm doing this. That feels kinda like what it comes off as to me. Doesn't feel like it's what he puts his most passion into a lot of times. At least later on. Earlier on, it feels a lot more true. Like, during Red Ribbon, there are just so many backgrounds and everything. Piccolo Daimyo has, like, the King's Palace and all that. And then by the time you get to the end of a series, like, even by the time of Piccolo Daimyo, by the end of that, it's just, well, it's a barren wasteland we're fighting in. And, like, that's not horrible or anything, but... because, like, the whole entire saga has other environments, but then after that, it's just, well, the tournament became a barren wasteland, and, now we're just fighting Saiyans in a barren wasteland, and Namek is a planet that is a barren wasteland. And it's like he just kind of gave up throughout a lot of it, feels like. But he's not one that ever... He himself talks about how lazy he is, so it kinda is to be expected, I guess. Yeah, he does say that Dragon Ball initially, some of it was sort of inspired by Jackie Chan type of movies and stuff, action-wise. It's nice to do the singing aspect of this and have an actual thing to go along with the singing, not having it just be a voice that's doing it. Sonic 4. No, I did not hate Sonic 4 Episode 1. It wasn't the worst thing, like, it wasn't the best thing ever, but it wasn't at all, like, the worst of Sonic. I do like Casino Street Zone, and Lost Labyrinth has some wonderful music to me. And Mad Gear is an incredible set of, like, tracks to have playing in the background for an Eggman bass. From what I've heard of, like, the latest game, though, Sonic Superstars, it does not sound the best compared to, like, previous games. Like, it sounds better than Forces, but that's not exactly a high bar to pass. But it's like, they have Telopes again in June on there, but it is not what I would say is their best work. It's serviceable, but it does not sound up to the quality of what I would want from them. But I guess at this point, at least it's not Forces. Oh yeah, Dragon Ball absolutely started as a Journey to the West type of story, Dumbo. It's mainly that first saga that is that, but as it goes on, there are still elements of Journey to the West that pop up from time to time. But it's mainly that first saga. It's kind of a... He did a manga that was like just a one thing, a one story before that was called Dragon Boy. And it's kind of a prototype to Dragon Ball, but it was only like 2 chapters long. It's, let's see here. Yeah, here it is. If it'll not crash on me, please be merciful, dear internet. If we do crash, farewell everyone, hope you had fun. But, here is, this is basically Proto-Dragon Ball. It's the manga story that Toriyama did a year before Dragon Ball in Shonen Jump. And it was pretty much this and another story that he did alongside it that provided elements that ended up crafting into Dragon Ball afterwards. Dragon Ball itself was just supposed to be that first saga was all. Just the Pilaf saga. But then it turned out like his editor, forget his name, I think it's Torishima was his editor then. He was like trying to get him to do more action. That led into the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai. And from there, it turned out the action got like a lot more popular, so they kept going along, and Toriyama kept saying it would go just a tiny bit longer, and then he just kept on saying that until it finally ended at Boo. Yeah, that's pretty much how Dragon Ball went. Of course, his breakout hit originally was Dr. Slump, and that's always been like the jump start to everything for Toriyama. Okay, and once we get done with these audience members, I am getting off. I am I am very, very starving at this point, so yeah, we'll just finish these ones out here. For everyone that's stuck around for this long, I hope the continual crashes haven't been too bad to deal with. I do thank you all for putting up with the hardships of today. Oh yeah, I did see that I think they have made a game or two before of Sun Wukong, but I do know that they have they were working on a game of Sun Wukong. Yeah, Sun Wukong is a character that inspires various characters throughout fiction, and makes various appearances himself throughout different works. Doko, however, is not one of those characters. Although, Sun Wukong is more of a mischief maker type of character. Doko is a bit too pure-hearted for that type of archetype, I think. Although he can, in his own way, make some teasing towards his friends at times, even in ways that they will not realize. He's not the smartest guy, but he's smart enough. He is smart enough to know that he is not as smart as other characters and can play along with the stupidity act if he feels that it's going to provide some fun. And I am done. Okay. I'm not done with the page, but I'm done with what I'm going to do on stream. It kinda pains me that I didn't make it to the end here, but that's still like 3 dokos left to do. Oh boy. Well, that'll be all off-screen stuff, so I guess since we haven't crashed, I guess I'll show this all again, just show what all the progress is that we have made. And yeah, here we go. This is all the blacks we've done. Obviously, looks more full and complete with them. Yeah. Okay. I have now stretched. Sadly, Edward on screen cannot perform those actions, but this is the first, I guess, proper drawing stream with our little Edward here, for those that missed out on the Pluto endeavors. So, for those of you that made it to the end and put up with all the crashes, I hope you've had a good time, and I hope you all have a good night. For now, though, I will be heading out, and the next time we do a stream, I will hopefully have some more money that I have made. So, you all have a good night, and Edward shall see you all later. Bye-bye for now.